Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
Good morning. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Look at the cute dog today. Yeah. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the April 16th meeting of the Lorain County Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Kalo has our dog from the kennel today.
Come here. Come here.
So cute.
Come
I
here.
love him.
Slow down.
He's so excited.
Come here, yeah. Our featured dog this week, as our dog warden said, is a designer dog. It's a Shar-Pei Bulldog Pug. He's a male. He's about a year old.
Aww.
He was found at Route 57 in Poplar in Elyria. He's extremely friendly. He's available for adoption today. So get down to our dog kennel. We have 26 other dogs if he isn't quite your speed. Madam Clerk.
I'm going to swear in the Miss Stephanie Kopis, the new deputy. Come up. Raise your right hand. Say after me.
I, Stephanie Kopis,
Do solemnly swear that I
do solemnly swear that I
will support the Constitution of the United States
will support the Constitution of the United States,
of America and the Constitution
the American Constitution
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and I will faithfully perform the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as Deputy Dog Warden
as Deputy Dog Warden
of Lorain County, Ohio,
of Lorain County of Ohio,
according to the law and the best of my ability.
according to the law and to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Yay, congratulations.
Welcome to the team.
Yeah.
Happy to have a woman for a change, you know? It's been a long time.
Female employee, excuse me.
What's that?
That would be a female employee.
Yeah. The female woman is the same thing, isn't it?
Not in litigation.
Oh. He's a very good dog, yeah.
I think we have one position we have to fill now. And then we'll have a full complement of people.
Do we have
What
someone
is
that
it, oh.
just recently left?
We have somebody that is recently leaving.
Oh, okay. I got a lot of phone calls on that one.
Ooh,
We'll talk about it in executive session.
okay. All right.
Close friend. For-
Really? Oh, I guess.
See,
Hey.
Do we want to do the
For her.
youth rally?
She wanted to see that.
Madam
Would
Clerk?
you like to do the youth rally first?
Yes.
The youth rally, Darrell Shumpert, team leadership coordinator for communities that care of Lorain County.
Good morning, Darrell. Good morning. It was a nice event last year. You did a great job with all
Either
the
one.
kids. Either one works.
All right, good morning once again. We're here to talk about the We Are the Majority Youth Rally, which is here in Elyria for its second upcoming year. We had last year was a very successful rally. We had gathered around 600 of our kids down at Elyria High School and performed the We Are the Majority rally, which is a prevention rally geared towards keeping our kids off of drugs and alcohol and other illicit drugs and risky behaviors. Such a success last year that this will be our second year doing it in collaboration with Columbus, Ohio, which is through the Ohio Youth-Led Prevention Network, as well as Drug Free Action Alliance down in Columbus. At the same time, just like last year, they're going to be meeting down at the State House and actually performing their chants and making their impact down there, as well as up here in Lorain County. Our rally was so successful last year that some of the individuals from Cuyahoga County came and saw our rally. So they're actually doing one on the same day as well. So it's actually going to be 3 counties on the same day, same time, doing this rally to push our young people into a more positive way of living and healthy lifestyles. So I'm going to pass some of these flyers out to the room after I'm done, if I have your permission to do that. Sure. That it will be held on Wednesday, April the 30th, from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. Here in the city of Elyria. We are asking for the public to come out at 11 o'clock a.m. down and gathered in front of the old Lorain County Courthouse steps, and that's where the rally will commence. At that particular moment, from 9 until 11, the kids will be inside of the Elyria High School gymnasium, kind of doing their own speaking and encouraging one another, and it's kind of going to be a really huge pep rally, if you will. And so we're looking to have, we have about 14 high schools this year. We only had 9 last year. We have 14 this year, with some of the high schools who weren't able to participate last year kind of got on board. So we're looking to have somewhere between 700 to about 800 kids this year.
Great.
So I'm extremely excited about it, very impactful. Kids are excited about it. And we're just looking for a lot of support for the community to come out at 11 o'clock and really gather in the square and really help our kids to understand that we support them as well as they're supporting each other, but we need to support them as well.
Absolutely. Good.
Wonderful. Thank you, Darrell.
Now, is there anything on websites or social media where people could go?
Yes, there is on the flyer. There is my name is on the flyer. Darrell Shumpert as the Teen Institute Coordinator of Lorain County, as well as my phone number, which is 440-396-7280, as well as they can go on the Communities That Care of Lorain County website, and they'll be able to see this flyer as well as more information on there as well. We are involved. Some of the kids are here. Some of the kids have popped up here now from across the county, so we're excited that they're here to support us as well. So, hey, don't sit down. Come over here. Help me, help me, and support our rally.
All right.
Thank you.
Do you have this in a digital format?
Yes, we
All
do.
right. I'm going to ask that you send it to me so I can do some promotions for you.
Yes, I appreciate
through
it.
social media and that.
Yes.
But it's great. With the kids, I got younger. My daughter's going to be entering high school next
Indeed.
year, and it's needed. High schools, junior high, we're seeing the drug problem, unfortunately, and I'm glad to see that our youth are out there making positive changes in their community. So great job.
Thank you.
No, it's a very
Appreciate
good
it.
rally. I was there last year, but you changed the time. It wasn't 11 o'clock on a Wednesday last year.
No, it wasn't. We have to adhere to however they down in Columbus pick the date and the time. So we're going along with them. So yeah, it changed a little bit. I believe last year was on Thursday.
Right. We may have to take a break from our,
We'll make it, but do we, is there something we can do to help?
Well, if we have an executive session that lasts longer, we'll just have to take a break and go out and come back in.
I was talking about some kind of support for this other than,
Oh, you financially?
I don't know, do they need something? Do they need?
is there anything that you need, Darrell, as to regards? I mean, this is a heck of a program. They brought out 500-600 kids last year. It was a heck of a.
It was
Sure.
it was definitely some things needed last year. One of the few things that we're still looking to get for this year is we wanted to get some water for the
I was
kids
just
to
gonna
have
say.
outside. I know it snowed yesterday and it's kind of cold today, but we're looking to kind of see if the weather prayerfully will be nice, at least get above 50 degrees, I guess you would say, for the rally. But
I'll take care of that too. We'll get some recycled containers and some sponsorships from solid waste, and we'll put a couple barrels out with some.
Well, the one thing you can do is on our Facebook page for the county, we can go through and do promotions, actually target different groups. churches, members in Elyria, and if you can give us the 14 high schools, we could target that and actually put a marketing account on there. It could probably cost $100 to reach probably about 10,000 people.
We only got about 2 weeks.
That's
You got 1
well,
week.
with
Yeah.
social media though, you can
Yeah.
do that immediately.
Right.
2 weeks.
But
yeah,
if it's, we'll get something up there, but if it's okay with the board, I'll get some sponsorships for the water and get a couple tubs of water and ice out there, if that'll work for you.
Yes, yeah, it would. Thank
And
you.
that, we'll give this to Hal, so he can put it up on our program when it airs on Saturday also, Darrell.
Is
Okay,
this the
thank you.
number we can contact you at?
Yes, yes, that's my
So
direct.
I'll have somebody give you a call and we'll get something going.
Thank you.
In case it gets warm out there, we can at least give them some bottles of water and stuff.
Indeed, I appreciate it very
Darrell,
much.
you want to let your guests introduce themselves?
Yeah, please. Come in.
Your name and what high school you're from?
Aaliyah Rednauer, and I go to Oberlin High. I'm Alexis Rednauer, and I go to Oberlin High, too.
I'm Desiree Ramey, and I go to Oberlin High School as well.
Nice to see you make the drive up from Oberlin.
And their proud mother, Kathy Rednauer, is
Yeah.
here.
So, yeah, Kathy's here. So, yes, indeed, but that's really at this juncture. I know we always, we've been very gracious that our prosecutor, Dennis Will, has graciously supported us by providing buses for some of the schools who may not financially been able to really support an extra bus outside of normal routine. So we've been gracious in that, and we thank him. You know, this is now the second year he supported us in that. So, but I certainly will let you know if something arises that we could possibly get some support from.
What schools are involved?
It is 14. Let me see if I can shoot these off.
All right.
I can tell you which ones aren't. That's the easier. But let's go. It's Lorain, Elyria, Clearview High School, Amherst High School, Avon Lake, JVS Early College. Help me.
Oberlin?
Oberlin, right. Firelands, Midview, Keystone, and I believe that's it. And we had Vermilion wasn't able to participate in North Columbia.
No Black River?
And no.
No North Ridgeville?
Oh, yes, North Ridgeville, yes.
Keystone?
And we have
He said
Keystone,
Keystone.
yes.
Okay.
Wellington?
Yes, we have Wellington,
What
thank
about
you.
Sheffield Lake?
Yes, and Brookside, yes. Yes, we
All
do.
right.
See, I told you,
Now
that's
we
why
got them all.
it would have been
All right.
easier for me to say.
Well,
But,
hopefully this
yeah.
is something that is just year after year going to continue to grow and get more participants.
Indeed,
It's a
we're
great program.
Well, we
Very
heard a
excited.
presentation from Wakata a few weeks back, and then we saw
The video.
the video, and you saw some of the unique devastation that's come into people's lives, and some people that you least suspected of. And you remember when Dennis Wills came and saw us and told us how epidemic the drug problem here in Lorain County is, and that was one of the driving forces before the drug task force levy was put on. And so this just goes hand in hand with supporting this type of prevention and outreach and education to get in front of the problem rather than behind it.
Right. And what our goal is I know my role as the Teen Institute coordinator is not just to have just this one event and then not see them again until next year. We're building relationships with these schools. We're doing a lot of prevention work in the schools. We're helping the principals and the counselors, bringing resources into the school, and just, they're running a lot of programs. We're just helping them with what they're already doing and pushing that process along.
You know, Darrell, a message out there is
Yes.
every dollar we spend on prevention and education is $10 or $15 we don't have to spend while somebody's in the system.
Which
So
is
every
true.
dollar spent before they access the negative side of the system, the savings is
Savings.
huge.
15.
And unfortunately, we spend so much money on criminal justice, and we spend very little on criminal prevention.
What was the scenario if we could pay for college for everybody in Lorain County if we?
Yeah,
what was
I
that
did the numbers a
scenario?
couple years ago, remember, and what I came up with, based upon the tuition rates at the community college, we could provide every graduating senior in Lorain County with a free college education for the price it costs us to house our inmates out of the jail.
Right.
Wow. It's
That's
unbelievable.
astounding, isn't it?
It is.
Now, it was a few years back, I don't want anybody getting all
Well, I mean,
riled up,
it's.
but we spend, what, is it 13 million? Well, they've narrowed it down, but it's close, right around 13 million, just on the jail.
Right, just the
incarcerate.
jail,
Okay?
not including the courts and all the rest of the judicial system.
So every dollar we can put into some kind of activity that diverts people, course of action onto a more positive road saves $10 or $15 per dollar spent later on. So we need to be part of some of this stuff.
Well, anymore you have young adults that are getting involved in this, and they're losing their lives. Family, parents are burying their kids, and that we had that epidemic back in November where we lost a few young people. So
Right.
Like 6
it hits everyone.
in a weekend.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's hitting every last one of us in some way. So
Yeah.
whether it's very personal or friend related or some way, it's hitting all of us. So we're trying to at least start with this generation and keep it going. So thank
I
you.
have my card here. But
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darrell. Appreciate
We'll be in touch, Darrell.
And ladies, thank you for your work in your community too.
Good catch, man, he's got some good reflexes on him. Thank you, I appreciate your enthusiasm too.
What's that?
Nice to see you again, Kathy. Thanks for
I
coming.
forgot they brought one up here
Monday.
already.
Thanks
See
for
you,
coming
girls.
Monday and supporting the transit. Yeah, I know, that's great. Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Under Resolutions Number 1, Job and Family Services Bills.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Investments.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Advances and repayments.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Requisitions.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Travel.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Bills.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Lorraine County Commissioners.
Mr. Cordez?
Thank you, Commissioner Kalo. I do have a few issues I wish to talk to the board about. An executive session, a couple personnel issues, potential hiring that Commissioner Kokoski has in front of her. Also, I want to discuss the purchase or sale of real estate. And I am in receipt of a completed labor contract from the promoted law unit out at the Sheriff's Department. I want to go over that with you and possibly get your agreement to that contract. Also an update on the labor negotiations ongoing with United Steelworkers America and our 911 safety forces. I think that's it for right now. So all of those topics are allowable for executive session discussions under the Sunshine Law. I'd ask at the conclusion of our regular board meeting today, we go into executive session and we talk about those items that I have specified. Thank you.
Approve and waive the reading of the minutes of April 9th.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under 911, approve and enter into various lease agreements with rural Lorain County Water Authority of Ohio, to use certain space on the premises listed below for the purpose of transmitting radio communication for emergency services. The term is 3 years and county reimburse all electrical usage that exceeds 150 kilowatt hours in a 1 month period. For 417 State Route 511 Kipton, 1702 State Route 83 Grafton, 27995 State Route 511 Rochester, and
50,000.
50,000 State Route 18 Wellington.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
For a moment, just sometimes we have to take an opportunity to point out some good intergovernment cooperation that goes on. We don't really pay a fee to use these water towers. If there's a, we have a baseline on electrical uses. We don't use much, but if we use more, we have to pick up a small fee. Rural Water's been a good partner with us for a long time locating antenna equipment. Otherwise, we'd have to build towers. So I just want to point out that they have been good partners. This isn't new. We've added a couple locations, but we've had a long-term relationship with them. And sometimes people don't know the value of those things, but they do not charge us to have our equipment up there. So I want to send out an appreciation and thank you to them for their good community support.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under Job and Family, reject the bids received on March 24th and re-advertise requests for bids for tape library server with warranty tech support agreement. Notice to be in the Journal on April 21st and 28th and open at 2 p.m. on May 5th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under the Mental Health, request Lorain County Auditor pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 340 through 5705.221 to certify to Lorain County Board of Commissioners the total current tax valuation and the dollar amount of the revenue that would be generated by 1.2 mil for 5 years for the purpose of mental health renewal levy to be placed on November 4, 2014 ballot.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under the engineer, authorize engineer to prepare, sign, and submit application packet to NOACA for funding for Cooper Foster Park Road, State Route 58 to Oberlin Avenue, project in the cities of Amherst and Lorain for 80% of construction, and detailed design engineering would be funded through the Engineers Bond Fund, along with the grant received in September 2003 from TID. Remaining 20% will be funded by the cities respectively.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
I see that somebody from the engineer's office is here. Did I read it correctly? It's going to be a 3-lane, just 2 lanes with a turning lane in the center?
Yes, that's the intent.
Okay. Any chance that that light over by Sears Hardware and Goodwill is going to be taken into consideration? It's a nightmare right there.
Realigned.
Yeah.
That's also
Bob.
Can you come up?
Yeah, get it realigned.
That's been a mess for years over there.
Yes, we had a traffic study done, Commissioner, to justify 3 lanes. And also, I know what you're talking about, there's that offset in the driveways. That's
Right.
We plan to correct that as well.
Good.
And this has been on the drawing board
This-
off and on for
Years.
a decade and a half.
Yeah.
I
I'm
remember
glad it's
having
finally
meetings with
getting
Amherst
completed.
a decade ago on this great project.
Right.
Yeah, I talked to Commissioner Kalo since he's a member of the NOACA board. Technically, this project's been on NOACA's plan, but it's never been formally submitted for funding, so that's our intent here.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Did
Thank
they-
you.
So it's
Yesterday I
just-
called out to the garage, there was a question, and actually Commissioner Kalo
We
raised
took
it
care of
between-
it.
Between Evelyn Avenue, Oberlin Road.
Oberlin Road, Oberlin Avenue, yeah,
Was it
Teresa
supposed to
took
be
care of
Oberlin
it. I
Avenue?
spoke to Bob Klaiber, yeah, we took care of it. So we
Okay.
changed the resolution to say Oberlin Avenue, not Oberlin Road, so.
And that was actually my fault, Commissioner. I looked at the wrong section of the map.
Not a problem, just figured we'd get it fixed before it went somewhere, and then it got rejected because we had the wrong road on it, so.
Mhm. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioners.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Approve and enter an LPA agreement with ODOT for the construction and administration of a safe routes to school project, Sheffield Township, and will be paid 100% through ODOT. Authorize engineer to execute documents on behalf of the board.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mr. Cortez.
Thank you. Judge, are you here this morning to talk about your request? There he is, over there.
Oh. is it
Judge
Bilancini?
Balancini, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have it on my desk, you guys
Right,
got
I
it.
got copies
and-
of it,
And I'm
right.
doing some due diligence on
Right.
it right now, but I figured you were here, so.
Yeah, I thought, I had some time to come. I thought if I had the opportunity, I'd take advantage of it.
Sure.
So.
Introduce
Might as well-
yourself first,
Sure.
Judge.
My name is Darrell Bilancini. I'm the municipal judge in Avon Lake. I had provided the commissioners with an executive summary, which is basically the argument as to why the municipal court in Avon Lake should have a full-time judge. As indicated, since 1957, when the court was created, it's been a part-time position. The population of the jurisdictions of Avon Lake, and Sheffield Village have certainly grown since that time. Recently meaning in the last 6 months or so, I find myself when I sit down to start the hearing day, sit down at 8 o'clock, we speak to the prisoners at the jail initially at 8 o'clock, and then we move into arraignments and pretrials. And I find myself sitting there from 8 o'clock till many times 2:30, and I don't get out of my chair. There was a recent occasion when that happened, and one of the defense attorneys said, "You really need to go full-time." And I've certainly thought about it over the years, but that kind of prompted me to say, yeah, we really need to make the effort to do that. So I've communicated with our representative, our state senator, and they are willing to make that proposal to the legislature, and that's what's required in the packet that I gave to you. It's simply a change of a sentence, basically, and it's basically because right now it says the judge of Avon Lake is part-time, and it would change to the judge of Avon Lake as full-time. I provided the commissioners with a comparison of many other courts, and frankly, I was surprised when I looked at the numbers that we had caseload that was surpassed other full-time courts that have been full-time for a long time. So that gave me some I guess, reason to hope that we could do this. The city of Avon Lake is supportive. I'm in the process of getting a resolution from the city, and the Bar Association is going to look at the issue in executive session on May 2nd. In talking to the representative who's going to present it to the legislature, there apparently is a session that there's a window of opportunity to do it in the next month or so with a budget issue that's going before the legislature. And the thought is that it might be appropriate to do it at that time. It would require me to get all these things together and present it to the Supreme Court and present it to the legislature within the next month or so. So I guess that's my hope that we can get it done that quickly. And that's pretty much it.
Well, the state legislature's on recess until after the May 6th primary, correct? Aren't they currently on?
Yeah.
My understanding is that they have a session through late May somehow.
Right. Exactly, before they go summer recess.
Yeah, and then they'll take a summer recess not till after the November election. So there's a big gap that they wouldn't be able to consider it. So.
Yeah, they're on a 4-week break right now.
Then they go back right after, then they'll do summer recess, but they have to get the MBR done, mid-biennial review done prior to.
That's the
June 30th.
That's the legislation that we're talking about.
So they're looking at window. When is Avon Lake going to have the resolution done, Judge?
I'm meeting with the mayor and president of council tomorrow. They need to have a work session, and they need to present it in a first reading, and my understanding is they're going to then pass it on the first reading.
Okay, will they do it by emergency then?
They'll do it by
Council?
emergency, exactly. Yeah.
Our, the county's share is 40%, so it's like a $10,000 increase for.
Again, Commissioner, the judge's office called yesterday. I hadn't had a chance to call you back, and I apologize for that. I didn't know they were coming today.
Right.
I'm looking all that over, and I'll have my due diligence for you and information for you for next week's board meeting.
Right. And you're exactly right. The number that I stated in the summary is the current number, and it has been that way since 2008. No judge in Ohio has received a raise since 2008. But what needs to be looked at is the other benefits. There's a percentage of the salary that's
correct. 2/5 is
paid.
the county's share.
Right.
So I should have, by the end of the week, I'll have information to you, and and at that point you can make a decision to.
For next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Judge.
you
Thanks
very
for the
much.
opportunity.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. After you speak with the mayor, Judge, after you speak with the mayor and council president, how you're going to do that, can you make sure you forward us a copy of whatever resolution they pass also?
Sure.
That
Sure,
way
I'd be
we've got
happy
it
to.
all together as our supporting documents also.
Right. I'd be
And I'll
happy
give
to.
Mayor Zilka a call on it. Just saw him yesterday and didn't think to bring it up to him.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Cortez. Your
We had
report.
I was just waiting. We had a very nice fundraiser the other night. I want to thank a couple of the commissioners that came.
I had another event.
And we understand if you weren't there in body, you were there in spirit and heart.
But I said I'll still take a check.
The weather went against the function. It was raining and it was cold, but still a lot of people came out. Enough folks that they got a little bit of resources to maybe take out an ad or do something to promote transit. I really want to say how pleased I am to see some folks that really came and have tried to help us. We haven't really had that before, and it's very encouraging, and it really renews one's hope and spirit that eventually we're going to get where we need to go, and we're not slugging it out by ourselves. So I want to send out a big thank you to those folks, and I also want to keep reminding people about whether you believe transit is completely necessary here in Lorain County or you don't think it's necessary, remember that we're leaving our dollars someplace else for somebody else to use. And those dollars churn in our community. If we bring $1 million of federal money here to support transit and we churn that 3 to 5 times, that's $3 to $5 million being spent at McDonald's and Walmart and carpet stores and places like that. So the economic benefit is significant of how the money trickles around and trickles up and down the spending chain. And we're missing those opportunities, not just in transit, but in many places because of lack of a small amount of money to leverage a large amount of money and then for that money to roll. I wasn't at the League of Women Voters. I'm sure Commissioner Kalo is going to talk about that. He took the lead out there last night. But I was speaking with him, and I had to remind him about how much money we didn't have, and I told him it was $10 million. He goes, no, it's only been 5, and I had to go through it again.
Right, with our losing going forward.
Because we're losing money now. We're not just have returned money. We continue now to see a diminishing amount of money slated for Lorain County going forward. It'll take 3 to 4 years right now, if everything turned around, to get out from under that. Because usually that funding is looked at 3 years behind, 3 years out. We already know. We already got our anticipated allocations going forward. And I can tell you the number is close to $10 million. And after a while, we'll look like we're getting our normal allocation, which will be the low allocation. So we'll continue to miss out on those millions, except we won't be able to identify the number as clearly as we can today. So I'm going to hopefully send some kind of message that people will see that if you don't ride the bus, that's fine. Give your neighbor a hand up if you can, but also help yourself by bringing money and resources to Lorain County that may trickle over to you in whatever you're doing in Lorain County. It's important to do that. Thank you very much, Commissioners.
Mr. Ernest?
Commissioners, I would like to request an executive session to discuss 2 matters of pending litigation.
Damn it, we couldn't go more than we.
They're not new. They've been hanging around.
Commissioners report.
Just to piggyback on what Mr. Cortez was talking about, our fundraiser on Monday, I just want to thank the committee for putting it together, those who came there and worked the fundraiser, those who attended, wrote checks. We had a few big sponsors. Mr. Kalo sponsored $250. Scott Saracen was a big sponsor. Harry Williamson, who was up here, I think last week or the week before, talking about CenturyTel. Well, AFL-CIO has also sponsored us, and the Nord Family Foundation gave us a big check. So I actually deposited $2,400, but we still have a few checks waiting in the wings, and David just gave me a check for 20 who couldn't come. So I'm looking for money. We need some money. And,
well, remember, I sent mine to the treasurer.
You did. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Cortez, that's right. You did pay for the hall.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you all for that. Much needed and necessary in Lorain County, as Mr. Cortez said. Tuesday morning, Commissioner Kalo and I also attended the Avon Lake's first demolition. 2 days before that, it was like 77 degrees. Yesterday, it was freezing cold, snowing. But there's a lot of people that came out in support, and the mayor was there and some other city officials, and they very much appreciate our help in that matter, and looking forward to doing some more in Avon Lake. This Saturday at our collection center, which is at 540 South Abbey Road in Elyria, from 9 to 12, we're going to have a shred day. You can take up to 5 boxes or 5 bags per vehicle. It's free. You don't have to get out of your car. Just open up your trunk and they'll do the rest. They're also collecting some non-perishable food items if you have anything in your pantry that you wouldn't mind donating. And we received a email from Jonette, who is our safety risk manager, and we're going to have a preventing employee claims before they occur. And it's a twofold thing. First is the training is free, and it'll benefit anyone who has to engage in hiring and managing employees. And second, Corsa has indicated that if the training is attended by a majority of our elected officials, department heads and supervisors, our county will be afforded a credit in next year's renewal. So we need to get as many people there as we can. I attended it last year, and it was really
Why don't you explain what
Informational.
Corsa is?
Corsa is our insurance carrier that provides for all types of things, our insurance for employees, insurance for cars, insurance for building, everything. So,
Well, they're a county risk-sharing organization, and we're in, I believe last count was 66 counties. It provides us a cost-effective means of purchasing all our liability insurance. It's just another way that counties have helped themselves to reduce cost. And they do provide all these services as part of our participation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's a live training event. Sometimes things are webinars and they're not, as entertaining, but hopefully we'll get a lot of people at that event so we can get a discount next year. And I think that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Busy week. We had our NOACA Governing Board appointment under our new rules and our new setup of schedules. The board voted to move forward in an agreement, basically a partnership with 3 other metropolitan planning organizations to apply for dollars to help with a multimodal, multi-county rail from Toledo through Cleveland. The 2 other MPOs had already done their resolutions agreeing to move forward. Lorain County being part of NOACA and having a train station here is part of it moving forward. We hope to have something happening on that line, especially in light of us now giving out the contract to design the outer.
A&E on the platforms.
Correct, the platforms, the ADA, and all the good stuff. So that's moving forward. Also, a long wound-up project, finally settled. French Creek Sewer has agreed with the City of Lorain to change their facility planning area. Lorain will now have the western end of Sheffield Village to help with development along State Route 611 and those people who need sewer, so it's nice to get that done in a nice agreement. Again, Commissioner Kokoski said a lot of events to attend, the spaghetti dinner, the Avon Lake demo. Lorain Police Department had a great fish fry on Friday night. Everybody was out campaigning hard. And last night, League of Women Voters invited me to present our 2 issues on the upcoming ballot. Issue 10, the Crime Drug Lab issue, and then issue 11, the transit levy. Lorain County Community College was taping it. They plan on televising it through election season, but it was both the reasons to support Crime Lab, the importance to law enforcement. I talked about our county prosecutor, our county sheriff, and everyone involved that they really need the Crime Lab to continue and what shortfalls would happen if we weren't able to pass this levy. And then big discussions about the county transit system, the importance of it. A lot of good questions from the audience asking how far it would expand. There were discussions about where it would be in the rural area, and I explained as we've discussed, this is just a helping hand. This is not going to make it a full-blown system, but it's a start for us. So I'd like to thank League of Women Voters and those in attendance last night. That's the end of my report.
Yeah, busy week. Monday, I was out with the Purple Lotus Project. They help domestic violence victims. That's where I was attending one of their events on Monday. So Friday, great fish fry at the FOP Lodge number 3. Terrific event, great food, and glad to see so many people coming out to support our local police department. Clearview Softball had a fundraiser. North Ridgeville Hot Stove ended up having a night at the races. So getting that time of season, I'm looking forward to it as I'll be coaching my son's Little League baseball team. But glad to see support coming out for our youth, make sure that they have activities that they can participate in the summer. On Thursday, I believe it was the land bank out in Penfield on Jones Road. They tore down a home out there. Mm-hmm. The neighbor was very excited about it. He's waiting for it to go through the procedures so he can take a look at purchasing that 6 acres out there. On Monday, Habitat for Humanity kicked off their 42nd project, building a home, getting ready to build another home on Franklin Avenue. And what really impressed me about this organization, and I know probably shouldn't say it here, but as a Christian, is their devotion to God and going out there and doing God's work. And it was great. They had the community involved, they had pastors involved, and they're doing this because there's no glory in it, but they want to help their neighbors. And I think that's something that we forget about a lot of times, and being Holy Week this week with Easter on Sunday, I just want to give them a big thank you for doing the job that they do, but also for inviting me and allowing me to participate in that event. That means a lot to me. And now we have another issue. I don't know if you received calls on the Vermilion Road Project that's going on. One of the trustees, Orrin, called me earlier this week, and we have a project that's going to impact some of our local business out there. It's going to impact them very hard because the project's supposed to start in June, which is their prime season for produce. I know I go out there for blueberries and other produce items through these businesses, and they're concerned because they just found out recently they already invested in the harvest for this summer, and it's going to have a dramatic impact if the project goes on schedule without any modifications. So, Robert, if you could kind of stay up here too to talk about it. I believe, Orrin, did you hand out everything?
Yes, we got them right here, Tom. Yeah. No, I hadn't received any phone calls to answer your question, so I wasn't aware of what the issue was.
But if you could just come up. I invited him to come up and give a explanation to the board instead of getting three different views on the project over the phone. So, Orrin, the floor is yours.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Orrin Leimbach, and I am a trustee in Brownhelm Township. Be sure to remind you that Thursday night is the annual spring banquet for the Lorain County Trustees Association. So
We actually canceled the SWAC meeting for you guys, so.
Good.
Already got my tickets.
All right, good. Happy to see you there. Brownhelm Township is bisected east and west by the Vermilion River flowing south to north. One of the two river crossings within the township is positioned somewhat centrally in the township, where North Ridge crosses within Lorain County Metro Park's Bacon Woods Reservation, shown in the green on the handouts before you. Ordinarily, residents west of the river, pink in your handout, and many Metro Park visitors destined for Amherst and areas south exit the park to the east and pass by and shop at three local farm market operations, two located 500 and 1,000 feet east of the park, and a third, Miller's Orchards, located a mile south on Vermilion Road. I'll ask that you refer to Figure 2 in your handouts. For years, the cliff face overlooking the park has been encroaching upon a shared strip of road comprising Vermilion Road running north to south and North Ridge Road running east to west. This section is just east of the park and is shown in the red circle in your handout. Last week, the township trustees learned that from early June to mid to late August, right in the high season for these farm markets, this section of road will be totally shut down so that a new strip of pavement, about 800 feet in my estimation, can be constructed along the side of the current pavement and further from the cliff, in essence moving the road. Traffic heading east across the river and from the park would immediately be diverted north to Vermilion Road, totally bypassing the aforementioned businesses, two of which rely almost exclusively on the traffic being diverted. Aufdenkampe Family Farms, Krieg's Farm Market, an ice cream stand, and Miller's Orchards all have, I am told, no income from that drawn from their respective operations, catering to the people with business beyond the closure. All have long ago purchased their non-returnable crop inputs valued in the tens of thousands. Without refrigeration, very little fresh market produce grown from early June to late October, squash and pumpkins accepted, will last longer than a day or two without a significant drop in quality or spoilage altogether. These markets are season-long affairs, beginning with strawberries and peas in June, ending with pumpkins, squash, and apples in late October. Let these crops sit on a stand or rot in a field due to a lack of visitors and the summer's income, most of what a farmer makes throughout his year, is just about shot. Rural farm markets are not usually seen as destinations, but rather places to stop along the way. It is not expected that customers sufficient in number to make differences will spend upwards of 10 minutes, 15 minutes backtracking a detour to frequent these operations. The park, on the other hand, draws 60,000 cars in the months of June, July, and August, each with multiple passengers, on average about 4. And many, according to Mike Sochi of the Metro Parks, stop at Krieg's on the way to the park, get their ice cream, and it's not uncommon for those same people to stop at Aufdenkampe Farm on the way home to get their vegetables destined for the evening dinner table. Another business concerned about the total closure on the road is Hollow Nursery, located a half-mile west of the river. Many of their customers come from the Amherst area as well, and with the increased inconvenience of a full detour north to Route 2, they fear that to a certain extent their business will suffer. I'm not a civil engineer, but I can't fathom that there's not some way to keep that road passable during construction of a strip that is for the most part next to the existing pathway, not on top of it. There are not 2 weeks before Halloween, and that drop in traffic would create a significant burden on these businesses, let alone a 2.5-month downtime. I have contacted the engineer's office expressing our concerns, but not have yet heard the results of that discussion. On behalf of these folks, I would ask the commissioners to, through resolution and cooperation with the engineer, keep that traffic flowing, or at a minimum, advise and encourage the work be done outside the affected business marking seasons. Fall time frame was ruled out due to school busing concerns, but I spoke yesterday with the Fire and Schools Transportation Administrator, and he indicated that while inconvenient, with the proper planning and sufficient notice, the obstacles could be overcome for a short period of time. He was quick to point out, however, that 2.5 months is not a short period of time. The affected farmers are here today to answer any questions you may have and provide their own input. I would like to thank the commissioners and others attending for allowing me to present. Thank you.
Thank you, Orrin. Bob, give us some background on this.
I don't know if you've been out there recently, Commissioner, but along North Ridge Road, right along the Mill Hollow Cliff, I think, Orrin, correct me, it's been 5-6 years ago they started to lose the bank. That was before I was employed here with the engineer's office. We've continued to have a problem with that, and we've continued to slide the road. We've added asphalt. If you go out there now, there's concrete barriers because the cliff is encroached right up to the edge of the pavement. Last January, we saw this, and if we don't do something, we're going to eventually lose the whole road and have to close it for who knows how long until we would get funding. So last January, we put in an emergency application to the Ohio Public Works Commission for assistance with engineering design for a retaining wall, as well as for future property to relocate the roadway. We were successful with those applications. We've acquired the necessary right-of-way to relocate the roadway, and we have the design completed for the retaining wall. With this last round of funding through District 9, our Issue 1 district in Ohio, we submitted an application. We're successful, so we have the funding in place for the construction. In fact, I think last month we put out a bid, and Dennis Construction was the apparent low bidder, and we're in the process of awarding them the contract. I think the commissioners have since awarded the contract. We're just waiting for the paperwork through the Ohio Public Works Commission.
Okay, I have a question, Bob, before you continue there, because I don't have the diagram of actually where it starts and stops. Are they starting construction on the western end where Vermilion Road and Northridge Road come together right to the entrance of Mill Hollow?
No, it's between there and where North Ridge continues to the east.
Okay, so it's somewhere in that in-between
Yeah, that
area.
intersection of Vermilion Road and North Ridge, that would stay open during the project.
No. Okay, thanks. I told you, I probably should have had the color copy, Orrin.
And actually, like the detour, I don't know, Orrin and I spoke briefly, but the detour is not using State Route 2. We would use the local roadways. Right now, the plan, and we've talked to the township road person, the plan, actually, and this is in the city of Vermilion as well, the plan would be to use Vermilion Road over to Cooper Foster, over to Claus, and then back up to North Ridge Road. So we want to use a local detour there.
Okay,
so again, if you were going north on Vermilion Road, you go by the farmers markets, you would not be able to continue into the Mill Hollow Gorge. You would have to take a right onto North Ridge. And actually, those people that shop would continue to come by. It would be the people coming from the west side of the river that may go up the hill, follow along the cliff, and then take a left onto North Ridge Road. And I think those would be the people most impacted. They would have to use that detour up Vermilion Road around Cooper Foster. Then
that's
down
about
Claus.
50% of your customers, right, are coming from the west.
You can't talk from there, you have to come to the microphone.
You gotta come up, introduce yourself, tell us
Tell us
who
your
you're
name
with.
and where you're from.
I'm Richard Aufdenkampe.
No, come on. You gotta do it up here.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm Richard Aufdenkampe with Aufdenkampe Family Farm, and we farm 32 acres up on the top of Mill Hollow Park there. And everything that we have on our farm, we sell right there. We don't do any wholesale business at all, so this would impact my business considerably. About coming up Vermilion Road there and then going around Mill Hollow to North Ridge, going towards Amherst, probably about 50% of our customers come from that direction. The other people come down North Ridge from Baumhart. A big part of our business is the people that are vacationing in Vermilion. They go to Linwood, that come out for 1 week and rent a cottage, and the boaters there. And they're kind of impulse type of buyers, and they don't know the region very well either. If they see a road closed sign, which I'm worried about, they may just stop and turn around and go to Giant Eagle. And they're like the impulse buyer that will be boating, just fished, and say, let's go get some sweet corn. The other big impact I see is that this project is supposed to start June the 9th, and our strawberry season starts right about then, especially this year. It's going to be later than usual. And 1/4 of my business that I do is strawberry business. So, and those are people that are coming out to U-Pick and to buy strawberries from my farm. So if this project starts then, it's going to have a pretty big impact on the business.
It sounds like there's really no good time, though. I mean, starting from now till fall.
Exactly. I understand the dilemma, and I've always, as a private citizen, I've always appreciated Lorain County's Highway Department. I think they do a marvelous job. And it was just kind of exciting when I heard 2 days ago that they were going to close the road for the whole summer. And
Is there a way that you
it's kind
can?
of a dilemma. All I'm asking is that the engineers take in consideration is keeping the road open as long as possible. If they could do it so there would be one lane, or
That's what I was getting to.
doing other considerations for us to get people to our stands and not, I'm even worried that at the North Ridge area where people are coming down the road and it's gonna be open right to our stand, your impulse when you see a road closed sign is to turn around if you don't know the area, because you won't know whether it's closed, et cetera.
Well, Bob, that's where I have a question at. Where they're closing this section here, the new road is going to abut the existing road?
Right, what the problem is, I understand what the owners are talking about, is it's not just relocating the road, we have to build a pretty massive retaining wall to, because I mean, if you just relocate the road, again, it'll continue to encroach, and eventually, you know, the next 3 engineers from now will be standing in front of a different board that now the road's, you know, the cliff is encroached back. So the idea is to build the retaining wall, but the new retaining wall is going to be in the existing roadway right now.
Both lanes?
It's pretty big, Commissioner. These are like, they're like 6-foot diameter caissons that go down 30, 40 feet. And there's a series of them that, like I said, those take up pretty much the whole roadway.
What about a temporary road while they're putting in the encasements?
I brought that up, and there was an issue with the property owner, correct?
Like, so as it is now, we're building the new roadway, but that will follow behind with the placement of the retaining wall, because you don't want to lose the new road as you're going along. I think, like I said to the gentleman, I think the best bet would be to sit down with the contractor and find out. Right now, we don't have a schedule from. It was our intent, you know, generally the projects we do out in the township, we try to do them after school gets out, because that's always like the starting point. Mm-hmm. So once we sit down with the contractor, see what his schedule is, see if it makes sense to delay when we want to start. Because again, like I said, the problem, their busy season is our busy season.
Right.
You know, I'd love to, if we had 12 months a year to build this stuff, but if we delay it too long, I don't want to get into that I'm standing here next spring that we had to delay the project into another year. We really want to get it done. And again, the do nothing option, because again, we could be standing here that we've lost the whole roadway and our design is really no good anymore, and we're back to square one.
My question being, hang on a second. Yep. If we're using the outside lane that's going to have the retaining wall against it, that still leaves a single lane, correct?
You got to, Commissioner, the cliff has worked, it's right up to we have what they call Jersey barriers, or the concrete barriers. Mm-hmm. It's encroached right up to the barriers. You know, and that's going to be our next step with this rainy season. It wouldn't surprise me that someone calls me tomorrow, we have to move the barriers over farther. It's right up to the.
Because I know we worked on Griswold Road, but we were lucky enough there that we had an agreeable property owner let us put the back road in.
Yeah.
This will keep businesses working, but the problem with this property owner, we had a hard enough time getting the right of way that you explained.
I think, like, no matter, like I said, as we discussed earlier, and I talked to yourself as well as to Commissioner Williams, is we have to close the road, no matter what we do here, we'll have to close the road for a certain period of time. I think what I need to find out from the contractor, is there a way we can work out where it may at least get them through their strawberry season or another season down the road?
Was the expected time of construction about 75 days? Is that why everybody's referring to 2.5 months?
I don't have a schedule from them. My goal, we'd love to have it done before school gets out. I don't, until I see a schedule from them, because it may very well be that he can't get it done. And again, the problem with our business is just like theirs. I mean, if we get a really rainy season, then we lose time, because no matter what our goal, we want the project done in one construction season.
And we don't want to end up with a Dean Road Bridge here.
Right, washout.
Well, what happened is it didn't get done, and the bridge stayed closed all through the winter because there was some pieces that weren't done on it, so.
Well, as Mr. Cortez pointed out, the problem with that bridge, we found extra stuff that needed to be done, but again, you have one construction season. Big part of that project was painting the bridge. Well, you can't paint the bridge in the winter, so.
It wasn't anybody's fault. It just, because of slippage, it ended up being closed a lot longer than anticipated. So that could even be worse if this project doesn't have a window of opportunity to be successful, because it could be closed next spring again.
Like I said, my goal here would be to get with the contractor once we have his contract and his schedule, express the concerns with the business, and see what we can do to help facilitate them the best. As I mentioned, as a minimum, we can work to provide extra signage, for the markets to indicate that they're open up to here.
Well, I have a question depending on cost. That's not a heavily residential area there?
No.
Any ability for nighttime work? Changing the schedule to where their daytime, they don't start till 7 or so, that most of their business day is available?
It might be, but again, like the problem with the road work, that may be possible. With drilling these cases, and this is a specialized project.
Well, I think what we need to do is find out how long it takes to build those cases to secure, and what that timeline is, and if they could start any sooner than prior to the strawberry and the ice cream season. I'll recognize you in just a minute, sir. And then maybe the road work portion of it can be accomplished in evening work, starting 7 to 7. Again, based on the allowable dollars.
And again, like I said, but again, my suggestion would be, like I said, let us meet with the contract once we have his get his schedule, and then I can sit down again with the owners of the markets.
Options possibly not to impact their business.
But again, I don't want to stand here and mislead him. The road will have to be closed for a certain amount of time to get this done, and as they're very much where they drive it all the time, it's getting to a very critical condition that. Again, I know there's thought, well, maybe delay, and it's not so much about losing the funding. If you delay it, we may have a worse case to deal with.
My wife and I go to Aufdenkampe, and we go to Creeks for ice cream. I actually missed Dylan's banana custard last year when she had it. So.
Because again, like with the Linwood, I know those people would come up Vermilion Road. Is there any way? Because you're right, they're going to get there and see that's closed. Is there a way? Can we sign that farm marks? And we can work with it.
Yeah, the problem is, so when you do the detours, and a good example is actually the Dairy Queen on the east side of Lorain. When we had the state bridge that was open, this was before you came, you could go around and get over there by going through Henderson. But once they see that detour sign, the question is, okay, is it really worth driving 20 minutes to get ice cream or get strawberries when I could go down the street to Giant Eagle or to another local place?
I said the biggest problem I see with this is how do we get them when they come up there? Because the detour is not all that long, but the problem is if we come up Claus, it's going to be past your businesses there. That's the goal, to get somehow signs so if they come up there that we can indicate, you need to go back a half mile or so to get over to their business.
Oh, sir.
Yes, I'm Robert Frimmel. I'm representing Hollow Nursery, as Orrin mentioned. We're on the west side, but about a quarter of my wife's business comes from Amherst, Oberlin, so they're using Northridge and certainly Vermilion Road coming in from the south and the east end there. So we get some coming down, of course, from Vermilion through Vermilion Road and then into the Hollow, and also Erie County on Northridge. But a lot of that's going to be stopped, I believe, just the drive-bys. If they see road closed before Mill Hollow Park, they're not going to keep going through. And we get a lot of people stopping as often camps and creeks do, just by seeing the sign as they're driving by. So
Sure, and pulling in with
if there's any way we can keep that road even partially open with a single lane and a light.
Those are discussion. It doesn't sound like it by what the engineer's office is saying, but if we can adjust the
We should
schedule
at least
somewhat.
explore those
If we can
options.
adjust the schedule for timing wise and keep the road open as long as possible.
I think that's what we would look into, Commissioner. And again, the detour is not, again, there was no intent to run everyone down the state route too, because again, that would be my concern. If you start directing that, they're not going to stay on.
Right.
It is a local detour that, again, if someone was going west on North Ridge, I would anticipate they'd take the detour, continue down through Mill Hollow and back up.
Any chance
I
you
think
can
we're
open
just
up
We're
a,
just asking for cooperation, and I think we're getting it as best
Mm-hmm.
as possible so far.
are you
And
able to
actually, you know, we've
relocate
always
your
worked with the
stands?
businesses.
Move your produce or whatever to another location for,
No.
in order to sell? No, I know the ice cream could never do that, but I thought maybe with produce and
The ice
things.
cream stand's probably easier. than
Yeah, it's
the-
mobile. The ice
Is
cream
it?
stand's mobile, oh, yeah.
The
Oh, okay.
market's a little harder and the
I think-
greenhouses are a little tougher.
I think what we're asking is if they could close the road as little as possible,
Yeah.
instead of making a general statement, well, June the 9th to the August, which is an awful long time. And then if we would have cooperation for local detours versus, major detours around.
Well, like I said, there
you
is
were
no,
saying,
it is a local, we did not, there's no intent
We would have
to do a detour everyone
some
out the state route
viability.
too.
So I guess that's what we're asking. I don't think we're gonna get you to not do the project.
Well, I don't think we can.
I don't think we have a
Well, yeah,
choice.
exactly, because I drive by there and I'm worried that my car's gonna go over the cliff when the cliff goes down. So I understand, I think we all understand the problems. We're just asking for cooperation.
Would you be able to, once you talk with the contractor, maybe go to a Brownhelm Township trustees meeting and do an update there for all the business owners to attend? I know there are more that wanted to come, but it was just an inconvenient time. at
Well, like I said,
today's
what I'll
meeting.
do is I'll go ahead and get with the contractor and express the concerns that we're hearing and see if there's anything we can do with the schedule. And then I'll follow back up with Mr. Leimbach about getting a meeting with the business
Well,
owners.
can you
then.
follow back up with the board too, Bob, so we're aware of it?
Okay.
I mean, keep us updated on the issue also, so we don't get a phone call whipped around and we're not aware of what happened. Let us know how your meeting with Dennis goes. Sir?
Yes. My name's Gary Krieg from Krieg Strawberry Farm and Frozen Custard. And I'm just reiterating what Mr. Aufdenkampe and Orrin and everybody has discussed here. And my only concern is where the detour signs are. So because usually a detour is put out Baumhart Road to Northridge Road. And if the traffic is directed around Sunnyside to Cooper Foster, again, too, our business is 50%, we're Erie County, Lorain County, right there divided by the river. And again, too, it's obvious this work has to be done because they've been trying to patch and fix and go on, the county has. And the city of Vermilion basically has put a stop to us putting signs directing people to us. Of course, we've been there long enough now where a lot of people, but it's the transient people that come through, or the people that stay in Vermilion and the Linwood and the cottages and the boaters. Those are the people. So if the county commissioners could work with or send a letter to the city of Vermilion so that they would allow us at least to put a small sign directing to Aufdenkampe's, to Miller's, or to us, or to Fremel's nursery in conjunction. Nothing huge, or just so that they're all there, so when people see the detour, they know that if they follow the detour, they can eventually get to us.
Yeah,
Well,
we actually had a talk on this, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Rob said that the engineering's office, you would allow the signs to go up.
What we would do, Commissioners, put those in conjunction with our detour signs. I've never actually, we'll follow up with, obviously, with the city of Vermilion, but in projects we've done, some of it, I've never had any objection from the locals, objecting to putting signs up to help facilitate businesses.
Okay.
Mayor Buellen's a small businesswoman. She understands the importance of the small business, so I don't see that being an issue with her. I mean, she's really good to work with.
Okay.
Bob, can
Thank
you
you.
bring the plan back to the board when you get it so that they have an update on it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Warren?
Okay, more or less just to wrap up from our, on this topic, I think it's important to notice, as I said, there are 60,000 cars coming through in those 3 months. And those cars, some go west, some go north up Vermilion Road, but just doing an estimation, we're talking at least 15,000 cars. And so these people are basically, there may be people that go around, and Lord knows Vermilion does the best they can with their roads, but Sunnyside Road, I would not want to go that wash road or that washboard. That is one of these bypasses that, or detours that Robert's talking about. And as I say, the retaining wall, I'm not sure I'm following that. If you were to do the outer lane first, the new section first, and then when the retaining wall is being worked on, have people go around the outside. So maybe Robert can answer that question for us. I don't know that any of my residents have anything more to say on this, but would like to thank you for covering the topipic.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, thank you, Commissioners.
All right.
Tom, still your report.
Yeah, well, that's the end of the report.
Madam Clerk?
Next Tuesday at 9:30 will be our TID meeting, and 11 o'clock will be our IAC meeting. Board correspondence?
Move the reading be waived.
Second?
Discussion? Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Public comment?
Anyone wishing to address the board, you can step up here, please.
Just need your name and address.
Hello, Mayor.
Hi, Mayor.
Sure. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Mayor Megan Flannigan with the Village of Grafton. And I just wanted to come up and state some concerns from village residents and businesses with regards to the Route 57 widening project. It's my understanding that that was brought up, I think, at a meeting or two ago. Last night, we received a letter from several of the businesses, one opposing the project, and they felt that the businesses were not included with the project planning and that it wasn't a business-friendly project. In addition, the group also had a problem with the engineer who engineered this project. And I think the main issue comes, one, with there's a middle turn lane. And we actually have a public meeting with the county engineers this evening, and hopefully some more questions will be answered. I had been pushing for a public meeting since I took office. I was informed that the engineer, Pogemeyer Design Group, did not want to have a public meeting until all of the right-of-way purchasing was complete. At any rate, the middle turn lane, and if you drive through Grafton, you can already see white lines painted on trees on either side, on lampposts. It's going to wipe out and widen and take out most parking spots for many of the businesses along that strip. In addition, I don't believe there's going to be even any green space, so it's completely taking out all the landscaping, the trees, so it's going to be just concrete and then your businesses. This project is actually one of the reasons why I ran for office. I've been following it closely since 2007 or so. And at that time, I was also a member of the Grafton Review Business Association, which has since then kind of fizzled out. But we all voiced our concerns to council and mayor at that time, and they really weren't addressed. It kind of felt that the project was going through regardless of what businesses or residents say, and kind of with regards to this project, I'm hearing the same similarities, and I think Monday we noticed big signs, flashing signs on both the north end and the south end saying, road will be closed through traffic, and it's completely going to detour businesses from coming down to that area. We're kind of close to Walmart. I think when people see that sign, they're going to turn right around and head back north into Elyria, Walmart, and so forth. And the businesses felt that they weren't being heard, as well as the residents. And so I just want to go on record and make sure that the commissioners are aware that businesses and residents are not for this project.
Well, that's interesting because, I'm sorry. When this was brought up to the board, I actually asked to have this put on hold because you told me your concerns. And then we had an individual, and her name's eluding me, whitish grayish hair, short, that came in and said that city council approved it, everybody was on board with it, and I said, well, the mayor has expressed concerns to me about this. And she said...
We were told that all the businesses, not all of them, but a majority of the businesses' concerns had been addressed, because we tabled this.
Right.
And then they were gonna have more meetings, but they felt that the majority, you never get everybody, the majority of the issues had been resolved. Mayor, that's what they all told us.
And that's why I'm here today. I feel that that was a huge misrepresentation. And I did want to confirm that that was said. As soon as I took office, one of the first things I did is I held a meeting with Lorain County, ODOT, I believe NOACA was there, OR: and I asked everyone in that room, why are we having this project? What's the reason for it? I did not receive an answer. At a council meeting shortly following that meeting, I asked council in a public meeting, why are we having this project? And I still did not receive an answer from anybody. So I honestly don't know why we are having this project. I drive around Grafton. I literally ride my bike around Grafton. We have some traffic issues during the school hour, before school, after school, but it's not something that really, where a middle turn lane is needed. I actually think that will create more of an issue, and certainly it'll prolong the process of the construction and the cost as well.
Bob, excuse me, Megan, is this the county engineer's project or the state's project?
Yeah, come on, please.
I think this is state.
I think it's a state project too,
Now
right?
it was initiated by the village council, but because of our size or our standing, we asked the county to quarterback it for us.
Yeah, what initially, from my research, back in 2002, the village did a study where they justified the 3-lane section. They made application to NOACA for federal funding. In 2006, Mr. Carney made available the bond program with your help to offer engineering funds to villages or cities that wanted to do federal aid projects with 0% interest. The village came to the county and they took, I think it was a $300,000 loan. Pogemeyer, who's the village engineer, was hired. The village used those funds to pay to have the engineering done for the project. The condition at the time, and I think, again, I wasn't here, but I believe the idea was, since the county was issuing money, they became the sponsor for the project to ensure that it was going forward, because no one would want to see the money spent and then, so we're not
Well, the village
paying it
didn't have the
back.
technical capability at the time, right?
So that, again, when this project is said and done, this is the village's project. As you pointed out, the Lorain County became an assisting agency to apply for the federal fund, help it get through the process. But
Well, if that's the case, and the village didn't want to go forward with the project, wouldn't it be their prerogative?
we would look to them, yeah. And the problem, I know this came up, and I think a friend of mine actually worked for OR at the time when there was concerns about the village buying the right-of-way. The problem is, once federal money had been spent on the right-of-way, the feds would come back to the village and say, we want the money
Well, there'd be a
back.
clawback on that, I'm sure. So Mayor, is it a position of the village that they don't want the project, or?
Well, therein lies the problem. Myself, and I believe two council people are in agreement with me. But however, we have 5 council seats and the majority is 3. And those 3 council people are pushing their taking away my village and my appointment and kind of going through and appointing their, continuing with Pogemeyer Engineering Group, and it seems that they are for this project as well. So we have some confusion with regards to our charter interpretation. So there's an issue with that. But I'm speaking, I don't work for council, I work for the residents and the businesses, and people are really, really upset.
This
And-
isn't the same firm that is going on with the previous.
Yes, this is the same firm where former Councilman Tom Smith has pending litigation. Nothing has been finalized. I think the court date got moved to May and June, which also I brought up to council. One, I had asked that they wait until after there was a verdict one way or another, just for public perception. That got denied. I made a motion to discuss the engineering appointment further because I felt that another firm was less costly, and in my opinion, they were more cooperative with me, and I thought it would be great to have a change in engineers. That motion got denied, and now we're in the second reading of council appointing Pogemeyer Design Group again.
Well, it seems like you got 3 issues.
Yeah, there's several issues.
First,
But
you have, however, you and your council are working together, and the majority is saying move the project forward.
right,
Second of all is all of the work that's gone into this,
Mhm.
and the money that's there in the clawback clause, that if it were to get canceled, does Grafton have the capability of paying back all the federal dollars that have been used so far?
probably not. Our general fund is hurting.
Like all of us.
Yeah, right. At one point, I had met with ODOT, and it seemed like they were open to changing the design. If you drive down that street, it's obvious that the road does need work, and the grade of the road needs to be lowered to help with drainage and so forth. So that is a good thing, and I'm all for that. But it's just that middle turn lane that I don't think it's necessary. And obviously, it'll cause the construction term to go longer and have that road detoured longer as well.
Because sometimes you're just stuck living with the sins of past administrations too. We've all learned that
Right,
here.
no,
So
and I
kind of-
completely agree, and it was brought to my attention that somebody had said that the mayor and the businesses are for this, and the businesses are irate that was said, and I am disappointed that I was misrepresented as well. So we do want to be on record stating that we are not for this project. We thought it was handled incorrectly and not business friendly. Maybe we'll learn some more information tonight at the public meeting.
Can you follow up with us afterwards?
Yeah,
Or is it about-
absolutely.
That would probably be the easiest way to see what actually the
Sure.
discussion is. Is there other properties, these businesses that are losing parking? Because I know it's a narrow
Yes.
run there, the parking spaces that are being lost.
Just
Is there-
about every
is there
single
abutting
business.
properties that can be purchased, or, again, I
Oh.
don't know each and every business down
Yeah,
that
but we're,
road, so.
we got to make it clear for, the people that are watching that the county's not making the decisions on this.
Right, yeah, this is not county
You know,
driven at all.
Right.
We may let a contract.
Now, see, council had at one point deflected saying that it was a county project, so.
That's why I went there,
kinda-
Mayor.
Right.
The engineers, as Bob explained very appropriately, is providing the technical support and assistance. And something may come to you for a contract under that, but the decisions are being made.
At the local level.
Right, right.
Okay, we're just offering that assistance. Some people do think out in Grafton that the county is kind of forcing this project on folks, and so it's good you came, because now we can all talk about how we've been misrepresented.
Does your charter not allow for a veto power for the mayor?
I have no vote, I have no veto, and thus far I have either been stonewalled or stymied on all of my appointments. So I didn't get law director appointment. The village administrator was very difficult in getting, and obviously now the village engineer is a problem. So
got to fight on your hands.
I'm not right. So
Small town politics is ruthless.
Wow.
and I've been asking for an interpretation for the charter, and I get mixed conclusions. You know, it's told that council has to make that motion, and it's kind of like, okay, stuck. But at any rate, I just want to go public and for the record and let you know.
Thank you.
Robert, is this the first meeting that you're having with the business owners? I know when you were here last time, you said you were going to meet with them and.
No, what we do, Commissioner, on these projects that we know are very disruptive, like last spring we did Abbey Road, we did something similar with Griswold. We do this on our own just to have a kickoff meeting with all the businesses that are affected by the property, let them know who the contractor is, kind of what the schedule is, what's going to happen during construction, who they should call if they run into difficulties. And we're not required to have this meeting, but this is something, since we were asked to help with this project, that we think is important.
Yeah, we had actually been asking Pogemeyer to give us a public meeting, because the last public meeting was like 2008, I want to say. So it's kind of, a lot of people thought that it had died down and nothing was going to happen. Obviously, not everybody watches council meetings. They're not exactly the most exciting thing, but now, you know, we have the council meetings online and so forth. But with that, with the traffic study, I do remember the previous administrator had brought up some concerns about the traffic study, that it was done during a time where there was a detour. And so there might have been more traffic coming through that area, and a number of different concerns with that traffic study.
So Pogemeyer, though, is the city's engineering firm, to your chagrin, but they're the ones, and they
Well,
won't
there's
even
still
do
one more reading.
And they won't give a public meeting, and they work for the city, huh?
No, they wanted to wait until after all of the right-of-way purchasing was done first.
You know, the one thing is, if this was a project that was slated and you wanted to get right-of-way and easements at a fair cost, and nobody knew the project was where it was really going, that's fine, but everybody knows exactly where it's going. So why they think they can't meet, it's no hidden secret where the right-of-ways and easements have to be obtained.
And that's where I kind of, you know, some red flags went up, and I didn't understand why the businesses weren't more involved, and, you know, for the people, by the people. So, at any rate.
Not to the people?
So I just wanted to go on record, and I can certainly come back next week and give an update. I don't know where else to go. Like I said, the law director wasn't my appointment, and I'm just kind of told it's a council strong charter, and then that part of the charter is read verbatim, but there's still my question as to you know, the appointment process and so forth. But
You're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
It's been fun. So just for the record, and then we'll see how the meeting goes tonight.
I was just wondering if you were going to ask council if they're supporting it or not supporting it at tonight's council meeting.
We actually had the council meeting last night. This meeting, it's not a formal council meeting. I'm not sure how many council people will be there. Our next council meeting isn't until May, the first Tuesday in May. But yeah, I guess we should probably do a roll call vote.
Well, it sounds like it's an informational meeting tonight that the
Yes.
county engineer's office is hosting.
Right, as far
To
as
explain to the
when,
business
yeah,
owners
I don't even.
what's going on, scheduling,
Right.
shutdowns, which they've done quite well. I've worked with them on a lot of other projects, Mayor.
Good.
And they've done a very good job explaining it. Normally works through some of those issues people aren't sure of, and then there's a contact person
Right.
that anybody can call, and the notifications that go out, they do a very good job at that, so.
You know, I grew up in a little town much like Grafton, and today there's 6 lanes of highways through downtown and no downtown. And preserving as much of a downtown as possible is really important. and there's not a lot of room in that downtown area with those parking spots. And
There's no room. That's what, it's gonna aesthetically look ridiculous. And you're knocking out a lot of parking spots. There's actually one corner, the Grafton Scoop, on the corner of Novak and Main 57 Main Street,
Been there
and
too.
that's gonna knock out everything.
Maybe that's why it's,
I
maybe
have a
that's why it's
Mr.
for,
Leachy staying in the
maybe that's
county.
why this Grafton Scoop is for sale. They see it coming. Who knows? I mean, it's
Right. It's and the current businesses are struggling now. You know, Sparkle Market.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people go there because it's convenient and it's right in town. They're just gonna head the other way and go right into Walmart. So it's sad, but hopefully we'll get some more information tonight. And like I said, I just wanted to go on record and make sure the businesses and residents' voices were being heard.
Commissioner, just, for tonight's meeting is strictly about the construction. I mean, we, like Mr. Cortez pointed out, the county's neither, we were asked to be a facilitator to help facilitate the construction. I mean, we can't really, tonight, I'm hearing through the mayor that there's businesses that don't want the project. I can't speak on the merits, or, at this point, we're very far along. And again, if council passed a resolution to cancel the project, well, you're one more step legally. Now you have a contract with a contractor, and I'm sure he would look for lost profits.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have to cancel the entire project. You could just revise it to not 3 lanes, right?
Well, see,
Right, that's
remember,
what I was
it's a state route.
Yeah, you're talking about going through the entire process again once.
Right.
Right.
Well,
It's-
it's a new traffic study and.
It's
It's
not
not
quite that
there's
easy.
a lot of
Oh,
processes.
it's simple.
No, it's not,
Leave it to
Commissioner.
us girls, we'll figure it
You know,
out.
Commissioner,
Okay, you haven't dealt with the federal highway system.
I know, I'm just teasing.
While it's a somewhat of a local project, it's still a state route.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And that's where some of the problems came in. And I think that, not to support Pogemeyer, they're a good firm, but they are an expensive firm, but they're a good firm. They're probably being driven by state guidance because of it being a state route and what they want to see there. Bob, is that?
There's federal, but a 3-lane section will really be driven by the traffic report. Because again, 3 lanes, I think Commissioner Kalen Williams, you see this through NOAC, they don't look at that adds capacity. It helps facilitate the turning movement. So obviously, I didn't read the study, Mayor, but there was some reason driving that they wanted that third turn
Well,
lane.
she mentioned there was a detour going on at the time,
Well,
and it
it's
might
right.
have forced
But
more
it's not
traffic
but
there.
said the 3 lanes doesn't give you, even if there was more traffic, the 3 lanes doesn't give you more capacity. You still have 2 lanes. It's the turn lane that if there's accident problems or if there's a turning lanes where it's backing up traffic.
And that's just it. There wasn't an issue where people came to council and were like, there's been all these accidents and this, and we need something done, so forth. You know, like how it is at Midview School, that is a dangerous area there. There was nothing that the public prompted this project. Council prompted this project. And the traffic study, with the detour going on, that's my confusion. I'd like to see that. But the problem, the problem is actually turning onto 57, and it's during those busy hours. So right now, if I'm coming out of a business and I'm turning to head south, and there's cars coming north, I get a break when somebody going south stops to turn, and then that gives me time to turn out. When you put in that middle turn lane,
That doesn't
creates
help.
blind spots. Yeah, it's just it's scary. But at any rate, I just want the concerns to be voiced and heard, regardless if anything can be done at this point. I understand it was pushed through very quickly, and
Actually, no, Mayor, on these federal aid projects, this has been 12 years.
right, it was pushed through
They take a
before
long time.
before I took office
I
in
know.
2012. The majority of stuff was working, but you said that federal money was used.
For the right-of-way and it will be used for construction.
Okay.
Interesting. I feel for the mayor on this. And I just want, you said with the indictment that's going on with the previous city council, this is the same firm?
Yes, this is the same engineering firm.
Okay.
They are
So
headquartered out of Bowling Green.
And this member was on that board when this project was initiated?
I haven't been able to see the report, but talking with the investigator, it was a matter of accepting gifts from the engineering group.
Well, this is the Indians tickets or something I read in the
Cavs
paper.
tickets or
Cavs
something
tickets, I
that
remember
the
reading
paper
something last
said,
year.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, he was one of the biggest proponents. Every time I brought up this project, you know, I get kind of a lot of pushback, and it's shown in the minutes. It's all the council meetings since I took office, about 2 months after I took office, have been televised, so it's all recorded. But yeah, that's.
I'm trying to think if there's anything at the state level that they could do if it's, looks like it was a misuse of power, possibly. I know, Jerry, I want to be careful on this, but
I know,
I don't think you can, I know you can't do legal representation for them, but.
Well, Commissioners, with all due respect, you know, the mayor has made us cognizant of what's going on. There's obviously some kind of conflict with the local entity, but it's not our decision, and I don't think we should be taking sides or making comments with respect to who has done things legally or illegally or whatever.
I'm just. Yeah.
That's our attorney, Tom.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's, yeah, we'll see what happens. But like I said, I just want to go on record, and we'll learn more tonight. Just wear some armor.
But again, tonight's like, we're there to present, you know, what's going to happen with it. Because again, the project was driven by the village, and again, where Mayor, you weren't there, so it was a
Right.
previous, and that's the problem with these federal aid projects. Because again, I believe they made application in NOACA in 2002. So again, this has been been a 12-year process.
I've served on NOACA for 10 years, Mayor, and the project has been there for the 10 years I've been.
Right,
So,
no,
I mean,
I know,
It's
and
not something that is.
I know
it
it's
could have
been going
pulled
on
years ago
for a
if it
while.
wanted to be done prior to the dollars being expended.
And unfortunately, when I took office, there was no computer, no phone, no email, so it's really hard to find any correspondence
Well,
or
if you were to
history
contact
of
NOACA, you'd be able to
those
get
sorts
minutes
of
of
things.
meetings where those were discussed, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
There's whether it had to go through air quality, water quality.
That's the NOACA
So
planning
testing.
process. Because again,
Right.
even down the road, whether Pogamore did anything wrong or not, FHWA and ODOT, it has gone through their
Right,
planning and
process.
design process. It's met the requirements.
So,
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you for
Mayor, I
your
wish there
time.
was somewhere, but I mean, basically it falls on the village to make
Right.
a decision, and if they can handle the clawback causes and have a vote of council.
Sure, and I'm just doing my due diligence when, you know, residents and businesses and everyone starts yelling and screaming. We did our part, so thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Anyone else wishing to address the board this morning? I'll make a motion to go executive session as outlined by the county administrator and the county prosecutor.
I'll second.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
This has been a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda for a printable copy of the agenda.